Thus, building sections are aligned properly with respect to the title block, but you can see that my actual section lines are outside of the title block, so I need to drag them down. So I guess I need to make sure my view is active, and then I'm going to drag this guy down. That looks like might be a good place for him. Then I'm going to deactivate the view and put in a new grid. So we'll go over to the View tab. I want to go back to my grid guide. Yeah, just make a new one. It'll be 8, I think. You can see it starts out really, really large, and I'm just trying to draw my grid, which is right here. So I'm going to drag it down so that it lines up with my section. Yeah, you know what? I don't have to do that. I do have to do that. I stand corrected. I do have to do that. So let's drag it down just a little bit. I've selected it. Maybe I can drag it down. Now, the reason I don't have to do that, I was thinking, well, I don't have to do that, is because when you click on your sections, they tell you when it's aligned. You see that little dashed line all up here. So that's aligned. That's aligned. That guy's aligned. So you see that little dashed line popping up. But the reason I did need to do that is because I want all of the heads of my section on all of my sheets to be in the same location. And I wouldn't know on sheet number 2, which would be section number 2. I'm going to go to the View tab, and then I'm looking for my guide, and I want to use number 8 now. So see, here's where I wouldn't know where my sections are. They look good there. There's 3. Let's take a look at my grid guide, again, number 8. And here they don't. So I'm going to activate the view and drag this guy down to there. And then the rest of them, I'll wait till I see that aligned portion in order to know that they are now placed in the same location on this sheet as they were on the other 2 sheets. Oops, I flipped it. And I'll bring that down. And I'm going to pause the video and do the rest of them. You don't have to watch that. All right, so I've gone through and aligned all of my sections symbols, the bubble at the top, to be in the exact same location. And now I want to make sure that my titles are in the same location. So start with 15. We'll deactivate the view so that I can drag this up. And I'm just going to put him right down there. Click on the plan, bring it over to there. And that's a good place. I think that'll fit for all of my sections. And so now I'm going to go up to my grid guide, and I'm going to make a new one. That'll be number 9. And click on it and bring it down. Try and line it up to where it is. Not quite right where I want it, so I'll bring it down a little bit more. And then I need to know, I'll use this guy to be the end of the line, this on this side. Maybe bring it back just a tad. We'll move it back this way. All right. And then I'm going to grab this end and bring it all the way over to here. So that looks good for that. Not quite good for this. So what I want to do is just grab the section itself and just move it back until the end of the bubble fits there. That's good. Looks like the end of the line's pretty close to there, so that's good. So I'm going to use my grid guide, view tab, grid guide. Now we're looking at 9 to move my titles all up so that they're in the right location. So I'll bring this guy over to here. That looks pretty good. Click on that to get the bubble. Bring this guy over to here. Not exact, but pretty close, but I'll bring it back. All right, so that's that. Same thing with this. Grid guide, number 9, shows me where my titles want to be so that they're all in the exact same spot to the eye. They might be off by a little bit when you zoom in really close, but remember, we're looking at this from a bit of a distance. So that's the third part of the tutorial. One is to get the sections themselves in the right location. The second part is to get the section symbols or lines in the right direction, right location. And then finally to get the labels in the right location. So I'll pause this while I make the rest of the labels in the right direction, and then I'll do a PDF and show you how that looks. So let's look at how the labels and the sections line up now. As we scroll through all of the different sections, now the top bubbles are all lined up. The bottom bubbles are all lined up. Take a look at the labels. They're pretty close to being lined up. But if they're not, you know, we can always go back in and fix that a little bit, because 14 to 15, the section is good. The view of the section is good. The bubbles are good, but 14 to 15 drops down a little bit. So I'll go back in and fix that up. But that's what we're trying to clean up now is our presentation.